Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of Parlay Busters. And in this edition of Parlay Busters, I'll be doing UFC Fight Nights, Evloev versus Murphy. And yeah, 3 Parlay Busters. It's like very bright, it's like light out here right now, but hey, we can deal with some light font. I don't really care it's not that deep. But yeah, 3 Parlay Busters for this week. I think at least one of these will bust a parlay, at least one. And yeah, first one, let's go with Abdul Kareem Al-Sawadi. I'm pretty sure this is not someone that's a lot of people are putting in their parlay. I think the value on him is good right now. If you're just thinking from a value perspective, he's the favorite. You know, he's from a value perspective, he's a favorite, like a damn near even odds right now. Might even shift to underdog. So the value is going good. I will say that, but I do think he's probably the most likely favorite. While he still is a favorite, that will likely lose this card. And if somebody put him in the parlay, this guy can very much bust a parlay. Abdul Kareem Al-Sawadi. You're putting in, you put him in a parlay. You're putting a guy in a parlay that hasn't fought in 2 years, coming off a loss, winless in the UFC, like 0-1 in the UFC. I believe he won a contender series fight pretty well against a Hardwick, and then came to the UFC, looked good. While he did look good, then he got mauled and lost that fight 0-1. And now he hasn't fought in like 2 years. He's not fighting in the UAE or any Muslim region, so he's not going to be on the side of Muslim favoritism. And then he's fighting in the UK where Shamrock is from, and Shamrock's a local fan favorite. So, and his most likely path to victory is a decision. So even if he does kind of do his track record, like, you're liable to get robbed on the decision if that is the case. Like, best case scenario, he's still liable to get robbed. In the last fight, he got beat by a guy that was, just bigger than him. Like, he was looking good, but the guy just was bigger. When he connected, the guy was like, when the guy connected, like, this had a much bigger impact. When they locked up over time, like, that weight and size and that strength just showed itself. And Shamrock is another huge lightweight. And I can see this a very similar path as the last fight. Or even in his best case scenario, could get robbed because he's in Shamrock's neck of the woods. So, yeah, that's definitely a parlay buster. And so Al-Sawadi. Next one is Losine Kita. Kita is amazing talent, but he has not fought no one to this level. It is like very too much soon to put in all your eggs or all your confidence in this guy. He might look the part, like look like this killer and stuff, like which he is, but he's going with a very savvy veteran. He's not going there with this guy that's on a downtrend of losses. He's like just ready to give it up. He's going there with a guy that's still very much hungry, still very much in his prime, and a well-rounded fighter and a well-rounded scrapper in Nathan Wood. So yeah, I would say, yeah, Kita, it's cool and all, he's his favorite, but this would not be some guy you should feel super confident putting in your parlay, given the fact, like, I can see if he came to UFC, he already had like 2 good wins and stuff, and then maybe the situation of odds would make sense, like he beat 2 decent guys, or maybe like one kind of build-up guy, then one decent guy, and like, oh yeah, this is good. And then maybe Nathan Wood was coming off a loss or a couple losses, like, yeah, maybe it's like an average confident low scene Kita here, but right now it's like, this is still very much a test. Like, this is his test right here, a very big test. And it wouldn't even be bad if he lost, in my opinion. It wouldn't be too bad, I would say. But either way, this is his test, and you never should be putting like so much confidence in a guy that's when this is his test, unless he really had shown something so much to prove, like, yeah, this guy is ready. Like, I can look at all his fights, all the guys he's beaten, all his performances, and I'm like, none of them really say that, assure that this is a test that he's so much going to pass. It's like, nah, I need to see him at this level. And this is the fight. I need to see him at this level. And he's going with a tough, savvy veteran who's well-rounded everywhere and still very much in his prime and still very much hungry in game. So I could see Nathaniel Wood upsetting him here. And Losine Kita is, I would say, not a guy to put in your parlay. He's definitely a potential parlay buster. The last one, a little bit shocking to a lot of you, I would say, Movsar Evloev. Movsar Evloev is getting way, way too much steam here against Lerone Murphy. You might say, oh, Lerone Murphy did get wrestled up by Emmett in that fight. Oh, this guy had this guy had success. But what's new? That's Murphy's every fight. Every fight is rough and every fight is tough. But also another thing, it's in his neck of the woods. So if Murphy can make this fight close enough, can have his opportunities throughout this fight, stuff a couple takedowns, have his striking success, this fight could easily be another split decision type fight. Also, it's in his neck of the woods. This is in the UK. He is a UK fighter. They're both undefeated, technically. Like, Murphy does have 1 draw or whatever. Whereas Evloev is just flat out undefeated, I believe. So but both guys have O's in their loss column. So this fight between two undefeated guys. Um, and I feel Murphy's wrestling defense is underrated. And just his composure in fights is extremely underrated. So sometimes it's not all about takedown defense, it's about your composure in these situations, being able to get yourself back up and win fights. And he has done that multiple times. It's not like this is his first wrestler. Evloev probably his best wrestler. But he also might be the most one-dimensional guy he's ever fought. Like, Evloev can strike, but has he really been like this big striking threat? You know, he has had moments here and there, but has he really been like this big striking threat? No. We look at all the guys like Emmett. Murphy was way more concerned about Murphy's one-punch knockout power. So he wasn't so concerned about the wrestling. He got taken down, I'll get back up. That's not my biggest concern. My biggest concern is I'd rather get taken down than get hit by Emmett's power. So it was a thing like sometimes you are far more concerned, and at the end of the day, Murphy won that fight. So yeah, this is probably like the most one-dimensional guy that Murphy has fought in a while. Not to say that Evloev is one-dimensional, but he is more one-dimensional than anyone he has fought in a long time. So I think and light gets brighter, but yeah, I just think Murphy will be live here to upset Evloev, given the fact they're in the UK, given the fact they're both undefeated, given the fact that Murphy has faced adversity in every single fight and has come out and won, or at least not lost. Evloev has not faced too much adversity. He has faced adversity in fight, but not too much adversity. Murphy, every single fight he's been in the UFC has been adversity. I think if he come out here, be live to us upset Evloev. And again, the odds on Evloev are not too great, to be honest. I think they're way too steamed. And then people put so much confidence they're going to put Evloev in every parlay. Again, it's just like a recipe for disaster. Evloev is the rightful fave, but I think Murphy is live to upset him here, especially in his neck of the woods. In a fight that's likely going to go the distance, regardless of who wins or not. Could be, yeah. Again, been in his neck of the woods, the fight likely to go the distance. Murphy is not like Evloev is some great ground and pound guy or some guy that's a great top controller so much. It leaves room for Murphy to eke out a decision over him. So, yeah, those are the 3 parlay busters for this week. So, once again, we have Lozine Kita, potential parlay buster. Al-Sawadi, Abdul Kareem Al-Sawadi, very much a parlay buster, very much. And lastly, Movsar Evloev, rightful favorite, but given all things, live to bust a parlay. Another thing, all these guys are fighting UK guys. Like, Evloev's fighting Murphy, undefeated UK guy. Al-Sawadi's fighting a UK guy. And let me just double check something. And Nathaniel was English as well. So all 3 of them are fighting English guys or UK guys, and that just leaves even room for potential robbery. So, or not robbery, but maybe I'm saying robbery. Maybe. But yeah, it's all on the table. But yeah, those are the parlay busters of the week. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.